I discovered dating apps hidden on her phone. She smirked and said, "You're just paranoid." But her Tinder was active 2 days ago. Now she's crying. But I walked out without looking back. We'd been together for 3 years, 3 whole years of memories. Inside jokes, weekend takeaways, movie marathons, and whispers in the dark that promised forever. It wasn't always perfect, of course, but nothing worth fighting forever is. From the moment we met back at university in Manchester, something just clicked. We bonded over our mutual obsession with true crime documentaries and our shared hatred for cold pizza. Through lockdowns, late-night essays, and finally moving in together, we weathered storms that would have broken lesser couples. Her name was Zoe, a woman who was sharp-witted, unpredictably funny, and carried this energy that could turn the most monotonous Tuesday night into a moment worth remembering. I swore to myself, she was it, the one, my person. But lately, something had shifted. Not in a loud, obvious way, but in the quiet corners of our days. Like static on a radio that never quite settles. She'd been spending more time on her phone than usual, and while it was never in my nature to pry or control, I couldn't help but notice the subtle things. How she'd angle the screen away from me, how notifications would vanish with a swift flick of her thumb, how she'd laugh a bit too loud at messages she wouldn't share. Still, I told myself to be cool. Don't be that guy. The paranoid, clingy one who sees ghosts in every vibration. I trusted her. God, I wanted to trust her. Then came that random Wednesday evening. We were just lounging on the sofa, blankets over our legs, Netflix buzzing softly in the background. She got up to make us tea, her signature mint blend, and left her phone on the coffee table. I was looking for a playlist we both loved, saved on her Spotify account. Her phone was unlocked. I didn't even think twice about picking it up. But as I swiped through, looking for the app, I stumbled onto something that made my blood run cold. On the second screen, hidden in a folder called Utilities, there they were: Bumble, Hinge, Tinder. Not just one, not just 2, 3 dating apps, staring me in the face like ghosts from a life I was never supposed to see. My heart started beating so loud I thought she might hear it from the kitchen. Still, I tried to make excuses in my head. Maybe she downloaded them years ago and just forgot. Maybe they were never even logged in. But when I tapped Bumble, it asked for a fingerprint. Hinge, same thing. I didn't even try Tinder. I just sat there, phone still in hand, mind racing through every possibility that wouldn't break my heart. She came back a minute later, smiling, holding my mug, sat down beside me, oblivious. "You okay?" she asked casually, handing me the tea. I could barely respond. I didn't snap. I didn't accuse. I just looked her in the eyes and asked, "Why do you have dating apps on your phone?" Her smile faded like a candle in the wind. She blinked a few times, trying to read my expression. Then she let out a weak, nervous laugh and waved it off like I'd asked her why she still had the weather app installed. "Oh, that? It's nothing. They've been there forever. Like years. I don't even use them. Just forgot to delete, I guess. Just for fun," she added, as if that phrase was supposed to put me at ease. But I wasn't yelling. I wasn't exploding. I just repeated the question. "Why do you have multiple dating apps? Like, more than one?" She sighed and set her mug down with a clink. "Alex, seriously, you're overthinking this. I haven't touched those apps in years. You're being insecure." That word, insecure, it hit me like a brick through glass. I wasn't insecure. I was trying to make sense of something that didn't add up. I asked again, "If you haven't been on them, then show me. Open one. Let me see." Her whole body language shifted. She leaned back, arms crossed, eyes narrowed. "Oh my God, I'm not doing this. I'm not about to prove myself like I'm on trial. This is so toxic." There it was. Another word weaponized. Toxic. Suddenly I was the bad guy. The controlling, jealous partner, for simply wanting the truth. I took a deep breath. "Then why won't you just open one? Just one?" She laughed again, bitter this time. "Because it's my phone. My privacy. I shouldn't have to prove anything to you just because you're feeling insecure." But I'd already decided. I reached forward, calmly, and picked up her phone. She flinched like I'd touched fire. Alex, don't. Seriously. Stop. She tried to grab it back, but I moved just out of reach. I tapped Tinder. No password prompt. It opened instantly, and there it was. Active 2 days ago. Fresh profile pictures. One of her in that blue jacket I'd complimented just last week. A new bio. Matches. Conversations. Men she'd swiped on while we sat in the same flat, ate from the same plates, slept in the same bed. I couldn't breathe. She went silent. Dead silent. The color drained from her face, her mouth half open. Then came the whispers. I swear it wasn't what it looks like. I never met up with anyone. I was just bored. It was just a distraction. I love you, Alex. Please don't let this be the end. She reached for my hand, but I took a step back. My chest felt hollow. My head was spinning. You called me insecure, I said quietly. You made me feel crazy. And this is what you've been doing. I didn't mean to hurt you. I was just, I don't know, lonely sometimes, I guess. It was never serious. I cut her off. You lied. To my face. You hid this. You mocked me for wanting answers. This isn't just about messaging some strangers. This is about betrayal. The tears came then, real, ugly crying. The kind where you can't breathe between words. But it wasn't remorse. It was panic. Desperation. She knew the game was up. Knew the curtain had fallen. And I just stood there, cold, detached, watching the person I thought I knew collapse under the weight of her own choices. But I wasn't done yet. I didn't scream. I didn't throw the phone. I didn't even slam the door, though every fiber of my being ached to release the surge of betrayal boiling beneath my skin. I just stared at her. This woman I had shared a life with. This person I had trusted with my secrets, my time, my future. And I couldn't recognize her anymore. Not because her face had changed, but because every word that had once meant something now carried the weight of a lie. She was still kneeling on the floor, tears smearing her mascara, voice cracking as she repeated herself. I didn't cheat. I didn't meet anyone. It was just messaging. That's all. I love you, Alex. But that word, love, it sounded so hollow now. It felt like an echo bouncing through a house that had been long abandoned. I remembered all the nights we had spent curled up on that very couch, planning trips we'd never take, talking about kids we might name, debating which city would be best for a fresh start someday. And now, all those conversations were just ghosts in the room, shadows of a story that never truly existed. Because while I was talking about futures, she was swiping through strangers. While I was falling asleep next to her thinking I was safe, she was matching with men on an app she promised she never touched. She tried to justify it again, said it was a phase, that it gave her a confidence boost, that she missed the thrill of being noticed. I just stood there, staring, silent, numb. I couldn't even muster the energy to yell anymore. I had given her the benefit of every doubt. I had swallowed my instincts, ignored my gut, told myself love meant trusting even when it hurt. And she took that trust, rolled it between her fingers, and tossed it aside like it meant nothing. I turned toward the door, needing air, needing anything but the suffocating weight of the room we'd once called ours. She rushed after me, voice shaking, arms reaching. Please don't leave, Alex. Please. I'll delete everything. I'll prove it doesn't matter. I stopped at the threshold, looking back one last time. Her eyes were wide, desperate. Her body trembled with the realization that this wasn't just a fight. This was the end. The only reason we're even talking about this, I said, my voice low and firm, is because you got caught. You didn't come clean. You didn't confess. You hid it, lied about it, and you only panicked when it blew up in your face. She opened her mouth to protest again, but I didn't give her the chance. I didn't walk away, I continued. You did. The moment you decided my trust was something to gamble with. And with that, I walked out. The door didn't slam. It didn't need to. The silence that followed was louder than any explosion could have been. I spent the next few weeks crashing at my mate Callum's place. It wasn't fancy. Just a one-bedroom flat with a leaky shower head and a couch that gave me backaches. But it was peaceful. It was real. I didn't block her, didn't rage post, didn't trash her name. I didn't need to. The truth lived in her phone. It lived in that moment on the couch. It lived in her tears that night when her lies finally caught up to her. She texted me every day for a while. First it was apologies. Then it became begging. Then accusations. You're giving up too easy. You're overreacting. I thought you loved me. Then the silence came. Not because she moved on, but because she knew she had nothing left to say. It's been 6 months now since that night. The night I discovered that insecurity was just her way of deflecting my intuition. That toxic was a word she used to keep me silent while she lived a double life. Funny how people who hurt you always try to rewrite the narrative so they're the victim. From what I hear through mutual friends, she still talks about me sometimes. Tells people she messed up the best thing that ever happened to her. But that doesn't comfort me. That doesn't validate me. Because I don't need to be someone's regret. I deserve to be someone's priority. Their choice. Not their backup plan when boredom creeps in. And as for me, I'm healing. Slowly. Genuinely. Not with rebounds or revenge. But with reflection. With long walks. With journaling. With conversations that don't start with suspicion. Trust is a fragile thing, and once it's broken, it doesn't rebuild overnight. But I'm getting there. Day by day. Piece by piece. I've learned that love without honesty is just performance. That a relationship without transparency is just a story waiting to collapse. And I've promised myself, I'll never settle for a story like that again. To anyone out there who's ever been called insecure for simply asking questions, listen to your gut. To anyone who's ever been gaslit into thinking they were the problem, you're not. Wanting truth isn't toxic. Expecting loyalty isn't control. And leaving when that truth is denied, that's not weakness. That's power. Thanks for watching till the end. If you've ever been in a situation like this, drop your story in the comments. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because sometimes the hardest goodbyes lead to the healthiest hellos.